What's going on, everyone? The Boston Celtics got some very unfortunate news by Danilo Gallinari tearing his MCL. He is playing in the World Qualifier for Italy, ended up getting an injury, and it sucks because the Celtics were just in the NBA Finals and unfortunately lost the NBA Finals, but they really made some upgrades, right? They got Malcolm Brogdon, they ended up getting Gallo, and the idea was like, okay, we got these pieces that can be solid rotation players, solid contributors, night in and night out. The consistency is what they need, right? Because they definitely had depth. The problem was the lack of consistency, and the players that they have coming off of the bench were, yes, able bodies, but they weren't consistent, like night in and night out, able to get you scoring. And that's what the Celtics were hoping to get with Gallo and Malcolm Brogdon. Like, those were the two acquisitions that, like, okay, we got these guys. If they can stay healthy, they're consistent guys. They'll provide that consistency and that stability. Not just that, but the big thing that Gallo provides is it gives you a guy that can play with Tatum and Brown, but not just that, he's also a guy that can alleviate those two and not have to have them play so many minutes. That was the big problem, is like the two of them had to play like 40 minutes a game for the Celtics to be competitive and win those games. And so getting a guy like Gallo was huge. And we also saw when the Celtics had a third guy get you 18 to 20 a game, the Celtics were nearly unbeatable. When Marcus Smart put up 18 points in a game, the Celtics had like a 98% win rate or something ridiculous like that. Like they were like 35-1 or something like that when he scores 18 or more points. So if you could get a guy who Gallo is that guy that can go put up, 15 to 20 points a game consistently night in and night out, that is huge. But now they don't have him. So the big question is, what's next? Well, Boston could look at Utah. Now, one, you have Danny Ainges, who was the GM and, for the Boston Celtics, so they at least have that relationship. But beyond that, it looks like Utah is going to trade Donovan Mitchell. And if they trade Donovan Mitchell, they're going to have a fire sale. And the beauty is Utah have guys like Bogdanovich, and they have guys like Malik Beasley and many other assets that the Celtics could probably acquire for relatively cheap. It's not going to cost much to go get these guys. Now, obviously, these are all guys that are connected and linked to the Lakers because the Lakers want to trade Russell Westbrook. But if you could give up a piece or two, or just some draft picks or something, and kind of work out a way to go maybe and acquire a Bogdan or, a Malik Beasley, I think would be even better. If you could go get Malik Beasley, he's 21 or 25 years old, and he's a guy that would fit in perfectly with this team, with the age, that kind of thing. You get your wing defender, all of that stuff. So I definitely think if you're the Celtics, you got to be hitting up Utah. You got to be hitting up Danny Ainge and just being like, hey, like, what would it take for us to get a Bogdanovich? 33 years old, roughly the same age as Gallo. They play very similar. It's not like they're both great shooters. Both can put up 15 to 20 a game if you need it. Neither are great defensively, but the Celtics are so good with the team defense. You can make up for them being on the court. Like you had Ime Udoka really put in a solid just defensive scheme. And you have guys that can really sort of make up for the lack of defense that these guys would play, but at least they try. So at least you're getting guys that at least try to play defense. They're just not very skilled at it. Age, just slowness, things like that. But in general, you're still getting that replacement for the loss of Gallo. Not just that, but I imagine maybe the Celtics try to acquire that, injured player exception. That's a possibility. But even if they don't, maybe you trade Gallo, unfortunately, to Utah. I think he's still got to wait another month, but like you'd basically be before the start of the season, you could go and trade Gallo. Regardless, I think you at least hit up Utah and you just say, hey, what do you need to trade us these wing players to make up? Because again, the huge thing is you need a body for Brown and Tatum. If you could acquire both Beasley and Bogdan, like that would be amazing. Like if you could get both of them, that would be a home run. Because now you got players that could, one, play alongside these two, but also alleviate both. and you could have them kind of, sprinkle their minutes and stuff. Like, that would be a great position because at the end of the day, yes, Tatum and Brown are very young, very skilled, very talented, but you saw the tiredness and exhaustion and just running through the playoffs, just not having those guys that can consistently come in and make up for the Tatum and the Brown sitting on the bench for, 5 minutes. If you could go get a guy or two that when these two go to the bench, you are at least, not having a huge negative, even if you're losing defensively. The problem wasn't the Celtics defense. The problem was the Celtics couldn't score when these two were out. And so if you could get those pieces to kind of make up for that, that was the whole point of getting Malcolm and Danilo. Like, that was the goal. Okay, we got these two guys that can play. They got size. Even guys like Brogdon, right? You got him who's like 6'5", good wingspan, could play the three in certain matchups, stuff like that. He's a guy that could play alongside Marcus Smart, relieve Marcus Smart. Like, him and Gallo were perfect because you have those guys, like if Marcus Smart gets hurt, right? You have him. Like, it just, you had these solid rotation guys that you went and got. Yes, they're not major needle movers, but they're just enough for the Celtics, who again, were just in the NBA Finals, just got a ton of experience and lessons and things like that. Tatum, according to him, he broke his wrist, and that's why he was struggling. Now, whether that's true or just an excuse, nonetheless, he should be healthy. And they're going to be trying to make a title run. I mean, this Celtics team is one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, one of the better teams in the entire league. They could easily be back in the NBA Finals. But it would be nice to be able to get guys that can help Tatum and Brown and get them some rest so they don't have to kill themselves to try to just stay in games or win games, this, that, and the other. It would just be nice to see something along those lines. But, however you shake it, I really think the Boston Celtics need to reach out to the Utah Jazz. I think Utah, they're in a position to where they are, again, having a fire sale. They're going to very likely trade Donovan Mitchell. If they trade Mitchell, then all the other guys are up for grabs. And right now, they're all linked, like I said, to the Lakers. But the Lakers, if they don't pull the trigger, and you're the Celtics, I would be hitting them up immediately. And I'd be like, hey, look, what do you want? Even if you just go get, if you get Bojan Bogdanovic, like, just go get him, because he provides the exact same thing that Gallo gets. Yeah, it sucks you're going to have to give up an asset where Gallo was free. You were able to just sign him, but you got to do what you got to do. You need that upgrade. You need that alleviation. Maybe you get lucky and Gallo comes back, at some point towards the end of the season or the playoffs. But even then, he's got to get acclimated. He's got to get warmed up. It's like there's questions like how, because he sat out so long. It's just, there's a lot of things that go into that. And you don't want to rush him and force him back. Like, it's just, at this point, you're kind of in a terrible position if you're the Boston Celtics. Because it's like, we got this guy that we're really excited for, that really helped this team, really upgraded this team in multiple ways. And it's like, now we don't have him due to injuries. And now you need to go plan B. And I think plan B would be Utah. I think Utah has the wings and the guys that you need to upgrade this team. I mean, even if you do keep Gallo and you hope and he does come back this season, it wouldn't hurt to go get more wins, especially in today's NBA. Go get more shooting, things like that. If you could make that happen, I think you got to. I think Utah is a real viable option that you got to look into. But anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think of this whole situation? And do you think that, if you're the Celtics, hit up Utah. Utah is giving away players. And the Celtics could use some of those players. Upgrade the roster while you can. They were just in the NBA Finals. You don't need any major changes. You don't need anything drastic or crazy. But if you could just get, if you could get a player or two that could come in, be rotation guys, give you consistency, because that was the problem, consistency. You had Grant Williams have a great game and, put up 20, and it's like, yeah, that's great. And then the next game he puts up, 2. Like, you need that. If you're the Celtics, you'd rather have a guy that night in and night out will give you 10 a game than a guy that'll give you that one night will give you 20 and the next night give you 2 and then the next night give you 5. And then, it's like 1 out of every 7 games he gives you like an awesome night. And that was kind of the Celtics thing, is like that third guy was by committee. where if you could go get a third guy that can consistently be that third guy with this team, you don't need a 30-point a game guy. You just need somebody that can go and get you, 12 to 15 a night. And if he has a hot night and he can go get you, 20 or 30, great, perfect. That's a great night. But you at least need the consistency of like, okay, yeah, he got us 30 tonight, but I know tomorrow he's not going to get me 2. He's going to go get me at least 12. That's what you need. But anyway, again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.